Did you watch the movie Lucy? It became a huge hit on the OTT platform. However, why I bought this movie today is this movie is all about using your brain to the fullest potential. Earlier, people used to say we use only 10% of the brain, but otherwise, scientists debunked that myth and said no, we use 100% of our brain. To be precise, we use or we get 60,000 thoughts a day on an average. And how many of them are meaningful and what makes sense? Absolutely, probably 0.1% or 0.01% if you ask me. Most of the time, our thoughts are related to the surroundings, what we are in. That's about it, and it doesn't go any forward. Now, most of us want to have ideas. We want to think. We want to create something valuable. We want to create something which has a huge impact on the world and also gives a purpose to our life. Is there any way that this is a framework or only few people get ideas? Don't everybody get ideas? Well, I'm here to debunk that myth today. To be very honest, all of us have ideas. It is just that how we structure, store, and retrieve those ideas which create a meaningful impact. To summarize the whole thing, yes, there is a mechanism where we can generate amazing ideas. Our brain is like a factory. All you need to do is set the processes right, and you keep getting ideas, and you'll not believe yourself how impactful those ideas can be. Now, in this video, I want to share 6 key aspects of how an idea should traverse through your brain and how you should prepare yourself mentally for those ideas to be meaningful and impactful. And then I will talk about a simple methodology through which you can generate amazing and meaningful ideas which can create an impact. Let me start with a story. In early 60s, there was a person by name Dr. Silver who used to work for 3M. He was wanting to develop a glue which can be used in aerospace engineering. Now, we all understand aerospace is very important, and the glue has to be super strong so that the parts don't move wherever they're using it. He tried and tried and tried, went on for a long time, but he failed. The glue, what he came out with, was super unadhesive, if you ask me. It was just sticking and falling off, sticking and falling off. And if you use it on paper, it just keeps coming out. So he toyed with that idea for a long time and then decided it's time to give in, and he shelved that project. That's over. And after a long time, there was another scientist by name Dr. Fry who was searching for a glue which would not stick too hard because his books were coming off, and whatever glue he was using, it is binding it too hard, and when he removes it, he was not able to use the book properly, or the pages were getting stuck. And then he remembered Dr. Silver's idea and the experiment, and he took it out, and voila, it worked for him because this glue was just putting the pages together, and whenever you want to remove it, you can remove it. Whenever you want to put it back, put it back. Now, that's what today we use post-its. See, an idea does not happen overnight. It takes years of research, years of experimentation for an idea to become fruitful. And you have to live through the problem through all these years to find a solution. Now, why I took the 3M solution is it fits into the framework what I'm going to share at the end. Structure, store, and retrieve. So we will get there in a moment. We all know the example of Thomas Edison. He had to experiment with about 10,000 materials to find the right material for the filament of the bulb before he invented. Thousands is not the word. So what are all these telling? these are all telling that ideas are nothing but your principles plus the approach what you create to solve that particular problem. Remember this formula always, which is the principle and the ways you get there, which we call them as methods. So an idea is nothing but principles and methods. You need to understand what problem you're solving, what domain you are solving, and we need to have a good understanding of the domain for us to get the right information to solve that particular problem. So let's get into the 6 key aspects of having a meaningful idea. The first thing you need to look at is you need to identify your biases. Many a times we are biased with our solution. So we look at something in a way and we're very strong saying that this is how it needs to be done. But no, it is not how it needs to be done. There might be other approaches and we need to be open to them. So first thing is identifying our own biases and simmering them down and be open to other ideas and other approaches to solve the problem. The second part is the inference. How do you interpret the information is what happens. Today's media is a classic example. We see something happen somewhere in the world and we infer that everything is same in that place or in that situation or whatever it is. But no, probably the situation is different. Probably the what was coming to you was different. And the best part is 2-3 people reported in 2-3 different ways. So you need to understand what is happening out there and infer the right kind of information for yourself to ensure you have meaningful information. The third thing is doing your own research. Do not trust everything what you see. I'm not asking you not to trust a formula or a material or whatever, but for this particular situation you are in, you need to do your research on the domain and the problem and what kind of solution output are you looking for. Identify what are the ways you can solve the problem. There can be 100,000 different ways. I mean, we talked about it. Thomas Edison had to experiment with 1,000 materials to get the right filament for the bulb. So we need to do our own problem identification and see what solution suits us in the best way. The next one is what we call them as judging the relevance. Now, for you to judge the relevance, we need to have the complete information to understand if this solution makes sense today or not. For example, you're wanting to build a calculator. We have to look at all the calculators and you have come out with probably a size of this calculator. Now, in today's world, will that be relevant? No, your calculator can be amazing, but the size of it makes it all. Today we have laptops the size of this and also fits in our palm. So not many people might want to have that kind of solution, and calculators are available on mobile phones these days. So what is the solution and how relevant it is to your potential customers? We need to understand that. And to beat this all, you need to have the curiosity. We need to have the curiosity that we can solve the problem, we can address this problem, we can bring it out in a meaningful way. So when I was starting this YouTube channel, I was always looking at what is the value I create. Why should people subscribe to me? There are many ways. I can do YouTube shorts, I can do tool reviews, I can do a lot of things which will get me faster viewers and faster subscribers and faster growth. But I wanted to go in a different way. I did a lot of searching on people talking about the fundamentals and how we can train ourselves to become entrepreneurs or become CEOs or whatever you want to solve meaningful problems. Let's forget about the titles. How we can make ourselves solve meaningful problems. That's where I wanted to focus on. That's why if you see the channel where all the videos what I posted today are covering the foundations. These foundations will lead to the future in terms of bringing out more valuable content, how you can do simple things to create meaningful solutions. So these are the 6 aspects what you need to keep in mind before you start looking at having better ideas, and having a huge impact. Now, Hari, I have done all these things. Now, how do I start ideating and how do I get better outcomes? It is a 5-step process. The first one is identify the problem, start your research, store your information, see that you can retrieve the information as quickly as possible, and start working on the solution of the problem, which is nothing but the scope. As I mentioned before, the formula for generating ideas is nothing but principles plus methods. So to understand the principles, you need to understand the domain you're operating in. And to understand the methods, you need to research on what is available, what is not available, what is practical, what is impractical. So you have to look at all these areas to start generating ideas. Now, do ideas happen in a day? No, they don't happen in a day. It is a continuous process. It can happen immediately today, it can happen tomorrow, it can happen 1 year down the line. That depends on how strong you are in wanting to solve the problem, which is nothing but the curiosity quotient of it. And you need to start reading relevant information to ensure that you get there. I'll give another small example. The difference between a UPSC, for viewers outside, UPSC is Union Public Service Commission, India's topmost, toughest examination to become a bureaucrat. So if you see the people who prepare for UPSC, talk to them and they will tell you, because they need to have subject matter expertise in almost everything. If you look at YouTube videos on mock interviews, they can ask any question under the sun. So how do you prepare for that? The people who are at the top are using the principles and methods. For general knowledge, pick the relevant information, keep updating yourself on the current thing. There are tools and techniques. You can use Google keywords. You can have information come to you. You can keep reading. Keep abreast of all the information what you have and mentally structure and store, and retrieve the information as soon as possible so that you can answer the question faster. This is how people prepare. And these people are absolutely mastering the whole idea of ideation. That's why they are at the top. And entrepreneurs whom you feel that who are at the top or whoever doing it, don't worry about them. They practice the whole aspect of ideation in a very, very determined manner. So can we be there? Yes, we can be there. We don't want to be there. That's okay. But we need to be master of whatever problem we are solving, and it makes a lot of impact in the value of what we create. Hope you enjoyed this video, and please do subscribe, and I will keep pushing more meaningful content over the years. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.